They took my garden decorations. Not thieves, not vandals, my own HOA. One morning I walked out to water the flowers, and something was missing. The little garden gnomes my kids picked out, the solar lights that lined the walkway, even the small bird bath tucked beside the roses. Gone. At first I thought it was a prank, but then I saw it, a letter taped to my door. Notice of violation. Unapproved lawn ornaments. Items have been removed for community compliance. To avoid further action, please refrain from displaying unauthorized decorations. I couldn't believe it. The HOA hadn't just fined me. They literally took my property. I called the office immediately. The manager's response? Cold as ice. Those items violated community standards. You should be grateful we didn't issue fines on top of removal. Grateful? For them stealing my family's decorations? That's when I decided, no. They weren't going to get away with this. I started researching. HOA rules were one thing, but actually confiscating personal property? That's theft, and I was ready to prove it. But instead of running to court right away, I thought of something better, something that would sting a lot more. First, I documented everything. Photos of the empty garden, copies of the violation notice, and screenshots of neighbors saying the yard looked great. Then I dug into the bylaws. Guess what? The HOA had no process for confiscation. They'd completely overstepped their authority. That gave me the leverage I needed. At the next HOA board meeting, I showed up early, with props. While the board members shuffled papers and adjusted their mics, I set up a poster board on an easel, but instead of spreadsheets or complaints, I'd blown up photos of each board member, with cartoon gnome hats and silly mustaches. When the meeting started, I stood up and said, "Since you seem so obsessed with gnomes, I figured you should wear them." The room erupted in laughter. Even neighbors who usually stayed quiet were clapping. The board tried to gavel me down, but the damage was done, and I wasn't finished. I calmly explained that they had broken the law by removing personal property. I cited state statutes on theft and trespass. Then I handed over a written demand, return everything within 48 hours, or I'd file a police report and a civil claim. The board went pale. Suddenly, they weren't talking about community standards. They were whispering to their attorney. And here's where it got even better. A local reporter had been tipped off. By the next morning, the headline read, "HOA steals garden gnomes, gets publicly embarrassed." The story went viral. People couldn't believe an HOA would waste time confiscating bird baths and gnome statues. By the end of the week, my decorations were quietly returned to my doorstep. No apology, of course. Just dumped in a box like they weren't mine to begin with. But the best part? The HOA had to rewrite its rules. Lawn ornaments were now permitted in reasonable quantities. And every time I walk past my gnomes now, I smile knowing they're more protected than the board's egos. This story proves something important. Sometimes, standing up to an HOA isn't just about legal rights. It's about exposing how ridiculous they can be. So tell me, would you fight your HOA if they stole decorations from your yard? Or would you cave to the fines? Drop your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Because every week, we bring you the wildest real HOA stories you won't believe.